game against the Aces, against the Liberty. And this applies to other sports too. The NFL, you see it. You usually don't see those coaches all that long. Usually about 2 years is their lifespan. And then they gave this game away. Another disastrous third quarter. Let's just start here. Let's point out the obvious. A lot of people said it. We can officially rest in peace.
The Indiana Fever suffered a concerning defeat against the LA Sparks, a team with only 5 victories this season. This outcome represents a significant setback for a franchise attempting to establish itself as a competitive force in professional basketball. Teams that consistently struggle against inferior opponents often indicate underlying coaching issues. Quality coaching staffs typically prepare their squads to maintain intensity regardless of opponent's strength. Players naturally elevate their performance against elite teams like the Aces or Liberty, but maintaining focus against weaker competition requires proper preparation and motivation.
It's Sonya over Paige this year, by the way. She was Team Angel Reese the entire year. Let's not forget that. Every single person, I want you all named and shamed, and I want Carolyn Peck on First Take tomorrow morning to talk about that. I want Carolyn Peck. They literally, the Indiana Fever played the Lynx, and the Lynx.
This pattern frequently appears across professional sports, where coaches who cannot maintain consistent performance standards against varying competition levels face shortened tenures. The typical lifespan for such coaching situations averages approximately 2 seasons before organizational changes occur. The Fever experienced another devastating third quarter, surrendering 28 points to the Sparks during this crucial period. This recurring pattern of third quarter struggles has become a troubling trend for the organization. Defensive breakdowns and offensive stagnation characterize this portion of the game, ultimately determining the final outcome.
Officially, rest in peace. R.I.P. Undertaker, Tombstone Piledriver. The theory that this team is better without Caitlin Clark. ESPN, you got your ears on? We can officially Tombstone Piledrive that BS. If you can't see how incredibly limited the Indiana Fever are on offense without CC, you're either not watching or you don't know what you're watching. Agreed. Mick, rest in peace to the quote, Fever are.
The team's inability to maintain halftime adjustments and execute second-half game plans reveals systematic issues requiring immediate attention from coaching staff and players alike. The game definitively demonstrated the Fever's offensive constraints when operating without their primary playmaker. Previous theories suggesting the team performs better without certain key players have been thoroughly debunked by this performance. The stark limitations in offensive creativity, ball movement, and scoring opportunities became apparent throughout the contest. Without elite playmaking ability, the team struggled to generate quality shots and maintain offensive rhythm.
Played the Lynx, and the Lynx couldn't hit a shot. The Lynx were terrible. And then the Indiana Fever showed up and shell-shocked the Aces. Thank you for the $5. Down 1, Lexi Hull and Soph Cunningham play Timpson go big. I don't know. I'm not even gonna say it was just a bad thing. I'm not even gonna say we got bad looks to end the game. We had 3 wide open shots. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it. But like, we play.
Despite the loss, several players posted respectable individual statistics. The team's core contributors scored 21, 23, and 19 points respectively, numbers that typically correlate with victory. However, supporting cast performance proved insufficient to secure the win. Ari McDonald contributed 8 assists, but struggled with shooting efficiency, connecting on only 2 of 9 field goal attempts. This poor shooting performance from a key player significantly impacted offensive flow and spacing. Critical timeout situations revealed coaching deficiencies in play design and execution. When facing crucial possessions, the coaching staff appeared unprepared with specific plays or strategies to maximize scoring opportunities.
Fever are better than without Caitlin Clark. July 2025 to July 2025. Guys, another disastrous third quarter. They gave up this game in the third. Let the Sparks score 28 points. It was bad. Look, our big three, generally speaking, if our big three goes 21, 23, and 19, we should win.
This lack of preparation during pivotal moments raises questions about game planning and in-game adjustments. Professional basketball requires detailed attention to late-game scenarios and appropriate play calling. Rakia Jackson dominated the final 3 minutes, exposing defensive vulnerabilities and poor matchup management. The inability to contain individual players during crucial stretches indicated both scheme failures and execution problems. The team surrendered 89 points to a Sparks squad not known for offensive prowess. This defensive performance contradicted the organization's identity as a defensively focused team and highlighted systemic issues requiring immediate correction.
I don't hate it. But, like, we played an Aces team that did not want to be there and just blitzed them because we outworked them. When you outwork a team that doesn't want to be there, you're going to beat them. And look, the Indiana Fever, I stand by this. The Indiana Fever, without Caitlin Clark, should be able to just hang. Like, we should be able to hang around the 7, 8, 9 seed. We should be able to hang.
Michaela Timpson provided exceptional defensive energy with impressive shot blocking ability and rebounding performance. Her 6 rebounds and 5 points complemented outstanding defensive intensity, including spectacular rejection attempts. Timpson's athleticism and vertical leap suggest significant potential for highlight reel moments, including possible dunking opportunities that would energize both team and fan base. Her defensive presence created problems for opposing offenses throughout her playing time. Despite strong performance from emerging players like Timpson, coaching decisions limited her minutes to just 12 during the contest. This allocation appears questionable given her defensive impact and energy level.
Our big three goes 21, 23, and 19. We should win this game. Ari McDonald, 8 assists in this game, but she was only 2 of 9 from the field. Only 2 of 9 from the field. Somebody was saying earlier, and I took note of it, that when the Fever called a timeout at the very end of the game, anybody know Stephanie White didn't draw up any plays? What are you doing exactly? What would you say?
When defensive struggles plagued the team during closing minutes, keeping such an active defender on the bench raised strategic concerns about rotation management and situational awareness. The Fever reverted to slower offensive tempo, recording only 5 fast break points during the entire game. This dramatic reduction from previous high-energy performances suggested tactical changes that negatively impacted offensive efficiency. The contrast with recent games featuring up-tempo play and transition scoring highlighted the importance of pace in the team's success. Slowing the game to a deliberate pace appeared to benefit the opposition rather than the home team.
Like, we should be able to hang around the 7, 8, 9 seed. We should be able to hang around here because the Valks go and win this game. Like, if the Valks go and win this game, they go a little bit ahead of us. Without Caitlin Clark, they should be able to hang. And that's fine. That is the big thing, because without Ari McDonald, I'm not joking. Without Ari McDonald, the Indiana Fever would be 6 and 13. If Ari McDonald didn't come, the Indiana Fever would be down with the Wings. I still think we hang in the 7, 8, 9. When Caitlin comes back, we're going to make the playoffs.
Several potential momentum-shifting plays failed to materialize during critical moments. Late three-point attempts and transition opportunities that could have changed game flow were unsuccessful, contributing to the disappointing outcome. Sophie Cunningham's crucial three-point play for the Sparks exemplified how individual moments can determine game results. The inability to match such impactful plays cost the Fever valuable points during decisive periods. Kelsey Plum delivered an exceptional performance, particularly during the first half, essentially carrying the Sparks' offensive attack. Her scoring clinic demonstrated the challenges facing teams without adequate perimeter defense and individual matchup solution.
What are you doing exactly? What would you say it is that you do here? Question mark. The office, your office space. What would you say it is that you do here exactly? A disaster. This was a disaster. The Indiana Fever cannot keep losing to teams like the LA Sparks if they're supposed to be a good team. And Rakia Jackson, she just flat abused the Fever in the last 3 minutes of the game.
The failure to contain elite individual performances exposed defensive scheme limitations.
Back, we're going to make the playoffs. We're going to be somewhere between 6 and 8, and that's fine. I'm fine with being between 6 and 8. I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm actually fine with not being between 6 and 8 and getting a lottery pick, but I'm fine with being between 6 and 8. I'm fine with that. But at the end of the day, this team is not more dangerous without Caitlin Clark. They're barely better on defense without Caitlin Clark. And yes, they were exceptional on defense in the Aces game. They were garbage.
The pattern of playing down to competition level indicates deeper organizational issues beyond individual game execution. Professional teams must maintain consistent intensity and preparation regardless of opponent perceived strength. Fast break point totals and overall offensive tempo suggest tactical approaches that may not maximize roster strengths and capabilities. Adapting strategies to personnel abilities rather than imposing incompatible systems could improve overall performance. Games against teams with significantly fewer victories should result in comfortable margins rather than closely contested outcomes. The expectation that victories by fewer than 10 points constitute disappointing performances reflects appropriate competitive standards. The actual loss to such opposition represents an unacceptable result that demands immediate evaluation of preparation methods, game planning approaches, and execution consistency across all competition levels.
The Fever in the last 3 minutes of the game. Seriously, what was that? Michaela Timpson, guys, she is a force, but Stephanie White took her out of the game. This is her on a block shot
This
right
one's
here.
going to look good on film.
Driving in, told Rakia Jackson, you get that shiznit out of my house. Get it out of my house. By the way, this young lady is going to end up dunking one night, and it's going to.
Recent claims suggesting the Indiana Fever operate more effectively without Caitlin Clark require thorough examination and statistical scrutiny. These assertions demand comprehensive analysis to determine their validity against measurable performance data. Commentary from analysts including Carolyn Peck, who previously advocated for Angel Reese over Clark for Rookie of the Year honors, continues promoting narratives that statistical evidence contradicts. Peck's current logic would similarly favor UConn's Paige Bickers over South Carolina's Camila Cardoso for this season's rookie recognition, maintaining consistency with her historical preference patterns.
Barely better on defense without Caitlin Clark. And yes, they were exceptional on defense in the Aces game. They were garbage tonight, and they were not good. I thought Natasha Howard was good on defense against the Lynx. They did a good job on feet. But, like, I'm sorry. If your tactic against the Minnesota Lynx is to literally, I mean this when I say this, literally leave Alana Smith, Kayla McBride, Bridget Carlton, and Courtney Williams wide open and pray they miss. If that is your tactic and it works once, it's not going to work twice. But, like,
the franchise's recent victories against Minnesota and Las Vegas require contextual evaluation. The Lynx struggled significantly with shooting accuracy throughout their matchup, while Las Vegas appeared disengaged and unmotivated during their contest. Indiana capitalized on opponents' poor execution and lack of competitive intensity rather than demonstrating superior tactical prowess. Without Clark's participation, the organization should reasonably maintain positioning around the 7th through 9th playoff seeds. McDonald's contributions prove essential to this competitive level. Without her presence, Indianapolis would likely occupy the bottom tier alongside Dallas with approximately 6 wins through 19 games.
Dunking one night, and it's going to bring the house down. She's got a serious, she may have the best vertical leap I've seen all year in the league. And she showed up tonight, especially on defense. A block shot. She had 6 boards. She even added 5 points. There is not a world where she ought to just get 12 minutes when she's playing like that.
Defensive performance against Las Vegas appeared exceptional, yet the same unit struggled considerably against Minnesota. The strategy against the Lynx involved deliberately leaving multiple perimeter players uncontested, including Smith, McBride, Carlton, and Williams, hoping these shooters would miss open opportunities. This tactical approach succeeded once, but lacks sustainability for consistent implementation. Statistical analysis reveals Clark's true impact when excluding games where visible injury limitations affected her performance. Removing the final 3 contests where groin complications required supportive taping, Clark's seasonal averages reached 21.5 points, 9.5 assists, and 6 rebounds per game. These figures demonstrate elite production levels when healthy.
Someone said Ari had 1 bad game, CC had 9 bad games. Yeah, if you take out, by the way, if you take out the last 3 games that Caitlin Clark was clearly playing injured with her groin strap taped up, her averages on the season are 21.5 points and 9.5 assists and 6 boards. If you take out the 3 games where she has her groin taped up, Becca's better than Caitlin by miles. I mean, just not true. It's just
Comparative analysis between roster construction shows significant disparities. Dallas has secured exactly 1 victory this season, with Beckers performing as their primary offensive weapon, highlighting the challenges facing teams without established star talent. Late game execution continues plaguing Indianapolis, regardless of personnel. The organization struggles generating quality offensive opportunities during crucial moments, creating systemic issues beyond individual player availability. Net rating calculations definitively favor lineups including Clark over those without her presence. Advanced metrics consistently demonstrate superior team performance when she participates compared to her absence periods.
A world where she ought to just get 12 minutes when she's playing like that. No way. And when you're struggling on defense to close out the game, why is she not in the game? Clogging up the lane. I thought this was going to be the play that bailed us out. Right here, 81-79, 3:33 left. Sophie Cunningham comes up huge. Huge. Right here. And that was the and 1.
Schedule analysis reveals striking disparities in opponent quality during Clark's availability versus her missed games. Of 9 contests without Clark, 8 occurred against teams ranked in the league's bottom 5. Despite facing weaker competition, the record stands at 4-5 during these matchups. Conversely, with Clark participating, Indianapolis faced significantly stronger opposition, including multiple games against playoff contenders. The record with Clark reaches 5-4 against teams featuring superior talent and playoff positioning.
I mean, just not true. It's just not true at all. Like, the Dallas Wings have won exactly 1 game this season with Paige being the best player on the court. 1. But, like, late on in that game, they just can't get anything. They've got nothing. The Fever have nothing. I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know what's going on. The Fever, they need Caitlin Clark. This team needs Caitlin Clark. And for
specific opponent breakdowns illustrate this scheduling imbalance. Without Clark, matchups included Washington twice, Dallas, Chicago, Los Angeles twice, and Connecticut. With Clark, contests featured New York twice, Atlanta twice, Seattle, Golden State, and Las Vegas, representing consistently higher competitive levels.